My name is Erin Dallesandro. I'm a production designer for commercials, TV, and film in Los Angeles. You find me here in my natural habitat, which is a prop house. This is where we rent everything to decorate and dress the sets that you see, in my case, in TV commercials. I was in the fashion business for almost 30 years. I designed and produced the fashion shows for major designers like Tom Ford for Gucci, Neiman Marcus, Giorgio Armani, on and on. And then I lost my job and I was very nervous about it. Changing careers at 50 sounds crazy and really risky. You know, people assumed when I was changing into going in the film business that I'd go straight to wardrobe. Everyone assumed that because I had been in the fashion business. And I was like, no, I'm done with that. I can dress myself every day. I'm done with that. But what I want to do is I want to create worlds and I want to create moments and I want to create environments. And for me, that was where I found my creativity. So the reason I stress that when I meet younger people, it's really important. See what you want to do and try different things and not be afraid of that. What you think you might want to do, you might not. You might want to do something completely different, but you don't know until you see it. So don't be afraid. You can teach old dogs new tricks. I am a testament to that.
Funny man, hardest working guy in town, right?
Commercials, it's a giant scavenger hunt. Some of my friends will laugh. They say, oh, you just do those food commercials. It must be so boring. It is not boring because you find your passion in that little thing. I think that's the thing I want you to take away from this is that you just have to be passionate about every little part of what you're doing, especially for a tablescape. When your food is a talent, what is it sitting in? What plate is it on? What platter is it on? What spoon dives into that mac and cheese? You know, what is that burger sitting on besides the parchment that you get from the drive-thru? So you really get to create this miniature world and these moments, and that's the really fun part of tabletop, which leads me into tablescaping, which is sort of a new term for what I do that you can see a lot on the internet and on Pinterest, and people are talking about, so what budget do I have and what can I achieve for this? That's something you can think of at home, and that's where the creativity really begins. So where to begin? You don't think you're creative, you don't think you could do this on your own. Well, the internet is your friend. It can be used for good or evil, so let's use it for good here. It's okay to go on and get inspiration. You see something you like, then you make it your own. Just like when you get dressed in the morning, which is an expression of who you are, how you dress a table is an expression of who you are, or who you want to be maybe. I usually always try and think of a theme, and that will help me build from there. So for instance, if you know you're having a birthday party and you know someone loves cars, then why not just find a little antique car and you can elevate it, put it under glass, and all of a sudden you've got a theme and that's your centerpiece and you can go out from there. It's kind of fun, but think out of the box. I mean, literally, your centerpiece, think out of the box. Use things that normally wouldn't be on a tablescape. Just find little objects that you love. If you love this little bird, then that can be where you build from. Like this prop house is curating, you're gonna start curating things in your own home that you wanna use over and over to create different tablescapes, not disposable things, things that you actually love and cherish and can use again and again. This is where your personality comes in. So you can say you're not creative, but what is your personality? What do you have around your house and in your kitchen? Take out grandma's china. It should not be living, collecting dust and never taken out. Use it. And I think it's really fun to mix things and just get creative. And again, find objects that you just love. I mean, why wouldn't this from your living room couldn't be in the middle of your table just to create something pretty to look at? So again, think outside of what you would normally see. And then I think that's where your creativity comes in. So start making a little collection for yourself. Go look through your house, see what you have. You certainly must have some objects that bring you joy or they wouldn't be in your house. So instead of going and ordering all this stuff for the birthday party or the anniversary party or your Christmas table, what do you have that you can work with? A piece of fabric that you may find in your house that you could lay down and layer on something else. Oh, another thing is like, I do believe in high-low. I have some things in my house that are very nice that I use, but I go to IKEA. Like I found this the other day and I was just like, oh, wouldn't that be cool for a table to put down. It looks like snow for my holiday table, and then I can layer different things on top of it. So don't be afraid of going to places. I'm not saying Amazon's bad or Target's bad or IKEA. I'm saying mix that in, but don't buy the disposable plastic. Can I say crap? Can I say crap?
Yes.
Crap that's out there, because it's just going to end up in landfill in Thailand, and we don't need more of that, do we? So I believe very much in flea markets and thrift stores and little antique shops and scavenging for special things that you can add to your tablescape and make them very personal. And that's where you get creative. Listen, you sit down on the computer, and that time you're going to spend on Amazon ordering, maybe just take that time and go out to your thrift store, the flea market, or Goodwill and see what you can find. Those stores do really come in handy, I'll tell you that. One of my mentors taught me there should always be a sense of humor somewhere on your table. A little bit of whimsy, a little bit of delight and surprise. I think you have to open yourself up to the mind of a child again. This is playtime. We're just playing here. It's not serious. It's not brain surgery. We're not saving lives. We're supposed to have fun and create something that elevates the food that you're putting down on the table. So you put that cheese on a plate, but how do you make it look the best that you possibly can? And how do you find the perfect fork in your house? And without stressing about it. It's fun. It's playtime. But let's talk about some basics of tablescaping. You really need to set the tone. First of all, your surface is your table, whether that be a kitchen island, your dining room table, a kitchen table. Okay, maybe you only have a 6-foot folding plastic table in the backyard. Instead of just throwing a paper tablecloth on that, why don't you think a little bit more? Like, is there a piece of fabric that you love that you might have laying around, a piece of linen? Is it an old vintage lace that was your grandmother's that you can put down? So we start with that to build our tablescape. And then we're gonna start with, what are the foods that you're putting on there and what vessel are they gonna go into? Vessel, fancy word for bowl, plate, tray. I don't want to do like Marie Kondo, what brings you joy, but what does, what makes you happy? Play. I love mixing different things, maybe traditional with more modern. I like to find little quirky things with serving for food. These are kind of creepy, some might say. And then it's time to play with different heights and how big you want your tablescape. And really it's to elevate the experience beyond just the food. So let's say you're entertaining at home. You've got that French onion dip. That's not the most beautiful thing you've ever seen, but if you put it in a beautiful bowl on this beautiful tablescape, then you've elevated that food. Maybe it's just a cheese plate or a charcuterie that you've made at home, but what is it sitting on? There's a lot of trends out there, and we all love trends, and they're fun, and that every job that I have, I try to have it be modern and use some of the trends, but I also believe that it has to express yourself in them. So I don't jump on every trend. I try and mix it in. When you're playing in the tablescape world, it's just temporary. So have fun with it. If there's a trend you love, go for it. Traditionally, it's always, there's a centerpiece at the center and everything sort of goes from that. I don't really believe in that. I don't think there has to be one centerpiece. I think it can sort of meander down the table. And so really play with texture, color, and heights. A new trend that I'm seeing a lot, and I really hope this sticks, is things that are handmade, that you really feel the hand in them. The pieces that actually you would keep and put in your collection. This is a very talented young woman who makes ceramics. She actually is my art director. You can see here really this cute little hands here on it. That is her logo. But I think we're seeing more and more of that. People, with there's so much mass-produced things, people really want to see a homemade piece of pottery or beautiful hand-carved knife, butter knife or a cheese knife. So just things that have some character, some history. You could find these at your local Goodwill, and a feeling that they have a story behind them, because you're telling a story with your tablescape. So each item can tell its own little story as well. So let's talk about the food. I talked about food being the talent, but the food doesn't have to be perfect. I think what we're seeing a lot more in food styling and with my food stylist is that And I don't want to say happy accidents, but that is a good term for it, is happy accidents. There should be crumbs. It's food. It should look like something that you want to dive into, but not be afraid to touch. It should look real. It should look delicious. So we're seeing a lot more of that, is the food does not have to look perfect. Especially when you have some beautiful bowl or beautiful serving spoon, it just, again, elevates everything. In the food commercials that I deal with, that's what my food stylists do. They make it look so delicious, but there could be cheese dripping down the burger, or the hot sauce coming out of the taco. So we want it to look real, and it's in the real world. So think of that when you're preparing this food for your table. It should glisten and be something that you're attracted to and want to eat, but it's not about perfection. And I think that's with everything that we're talking about here. It should look, again, what we find a lot in film is happy accidents. We'll be playing with something on set, and the director will go, wait, that's it, that's beautiful. And you're like, oh, okay, I was gonna make this perfect, but you like that because it looks natural. Like, where does your linen actually fall, when you put that on your plate? It doesn't have to be this perfectly origami swan coming out of the plate. But it is a giant scavenger hunt, but it's not about perfection. There's no rules. You can find special things that you can add to your tablescape and make them very personal, and that's where you get creative.